Hello everyone, I'm Amy and welcome to my channel. For today's book video, I'm going to be sharing with you the bookshelf that is in the background of all my videos. I hope everybody is having a wonderful March and keeping an eye on rainbows to see if they can see a pot of gold and seeing if they can spot a leprechaun. The reason why you can't see my face is because I'm going to be showing you my books and I don't know how to rotate switch angles of my camera, so that is why I'm just showing you my whiteboard. Um, this is only one of the many bookcases I have. If you like this bookshelf tour, I will be making more. The first bookshelf will be high fantasy, kind of dark, grittier themes. The next will be kind of classic and girl-related centered characters. The next is another fantasy shelf. After that is another classic shelf. The following shelf is my animal books. The next shelf is again another, and the last two are another two fantasies. So sit back, get a pen and paper, and I hope you enjoy this book video. So starting here, I have the Corpse Bride Funko Pops and the uh, the Night Angel series. I have Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind, and The Wise Man's Sphere. I have Terry Brooks, The Shannara Chronicles, along with Cassandra Clare's The Clockwork Angel series. Following that is the Brett Week series, The Demon Cycle. And I have Ragnar Lothbrok from History Channel's Vikings and Lagatha. Following that, I have the first book in a series called Eversong by Donna Grant. On my next shelf, I have the Storyteller from the Aladdin, and then Aladdin and Genie, and then I have Thomas Hardy's some of the books by him, and I have Shakespeare, all my Shakespeare. I have some other random books. I have the 1001 Arabian Nights, Alice in Wonderland, Memoirs of a Geisha. I also have Rocket Raccoon here. One of my favorites, Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The 10th Kingdom. I have a classic 80s Minnie Mouse. I have the Selection series by Kira Cass. I have All That Fall, and that is by Christine Pope. I have Dragon Rose, also by Christine Pope. And then I have the Jamin Eve series, The Walker Saga, 1 through 7. And then I have another series called The Wolves of Winter's Edge, and that is a trilogy. And of course, I have, next to Minnie, I have Doctor Strange, and I have Loki Funko Pop. The third shelf is fantasy. I have, let's see, I have Heather Dixon's Entangled. I have Rosamund Hodges' Crimson Bound and Cruel Beauty. I have The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adahidi and The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Adahidi. I have The Story Spinner by Becky Wallace and her follow-up story, The Skylighter, also by Becky Wallace. And then I have the Waterfire Saga, Mermaid books, by Jessica Donnelly. And then I have the Fallen Kingdom series 1 through 6 by Morgan Rhodes. And I have a Popple that my husband got me. And another 3-book bind up by Terry Brooks. It's called The Magic Kingdom of Landover. And if you excuse me, I'm going to step down from my chair. All right, my next shelf is a classic shelf, and it has Little Women by The King's Design, and I got that book I found it at a dollar store. I have also Cinderella, Alice Funko Pop. I have Charles Dickens' Bleak House, A Christmas Carol, Our Mutual Friend, Little Dorrit, The Old Curiosity Shop, and then I have Sherlock, Sadness, Jane Austen, Velma, and Beast. And in the back behind them, I have my Jane Austen series, which is Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. Following that is 3 books by Amanda Grange, and it is Henry Tilney's Diary, Captain Wentworth's Diary, and Colonel Brandon's Diary. Following that, I have Mr. Darcy Vampire by Amanda Grange. Behind Velma is Jane Eyre by Emily Bronte. Following that is George Eliot's Daniel Deronda. Following that is Silas Marner. Following that is Middlemarch by George Eliot. And Wives and Daughters is the Orange-bound book by Elizabeth Gaskell. And another Thomas Hardy, and it is The Mayor of Casterbridge. Also, I have another Sherlock on top of that. The next shelf is my nonfiction animal books. So I have Hero Cats by Eric Swanson. Judy Bear is Nora's Ark, which is not actually a nonfiction book, but it is about animals, so that's why it's on there. I have Following Atticus by Tom Ryan. I have Stay by Allie Larkin. Again, it's a fiction book, but it's about animals. Wallace by Jim Gordon. An Indomitable Beast by Rob Bankowski. James Herriot's All Creatures Great and Small. Another book, James Herriot, All Things Wise and Wonderful. A Gift from Bob. And that is by, James Rowan. Rescuing Sprite by Mark R. Levin. Giant George, The Life with the Biggest Dog by Dave Nasser. Homer's Odyssey by Gwen Cooper. Animals and the Kids That Love Them, by Alan and Linda Anderson. Marley and Me by John Gordon. Dog Days by Mark Doty. Hadessa, which is not at all a animal story, but I thought it looked good on the shelf. Geisha, A Life. And I cannot pronounce the first and last name. Again, it looked good on the shelf. That's why it's on here. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Tales by Washington Irving. Again, I didn't have a ton of animal books to fill the shelf. That's why there's kind of other different books, as you can tell. There's Alexander Dumas, The Three Musketeers. Tolkien, The Hobbit. Annette Curtis Klaus, Blood and Chocolate. Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. Neil Gaiman's Coraline. Jerry Seinfeld, Sign Language. My book that I wrote, Legends, Orbs of the Elements. and the complete Sherlock Holmes book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And then on that shelf, my Funko Pops are Raja, White Rabbit, Cheshire Cat, the mini Funko Pops of Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale, Scrooge McDuck, Darkwing Duck, his girlfriend, which I cannot remember her name, the kid, which I cannot think of, from DuckTales, Dewey, and Kit Cloud Kicker from Tailspin. The next to last shelf is my kind of more adventure books, trilogies. So let's begin. I have The Assassin's Curse by, what is her name? Cassandra Rose Clark. And following that is also The Pirate's Wish, is also by Cassandra Rose Clark. That's an awesome duology if you're interested. Here's a series called the Mythos Academy series. If you love Harry Potter, the Wednesday TV show, you will love this series of books. I hope to get more in the collection. It is a really good series. So the first book is A Touch of Frost by Jennifer Estep. The second book that I own is Kiss of Frost. And the third book I own is Midnight Frost. Following that is Ranger's Tale by Misty Parker. The follow-up story to that is Sierra's Song, a Talimar novel, also by Misty Parker. Let's see. The next to that is Blood, Life, Death, and Destiny by J.K. Wignall, and I probably could be saying that name wrong, so I apologize. And a third book, which you can't really see, and I do apologize for that. Let me see if I can get it here. Is called Immortal Enemies by A.J. Justice. It's about vampires, and it's very good. Following that is a 3-trilogy series, and it is called Princess of the Midnight Ball, Princess of Glass, Princess of the Silver Woods, and they are by Jessica Day George, and they are retellings of fairy tales. Awesome series. I'd highly recommend them. The next to that is the Ranger's Apprentice series. The first book is The Ranger's Apprentice. Is actually not The Rangers. The first book is Ranger's Apprentice, The Return of Gorland by John Flannan. And I have the third book in the series is called Ranger's Apprentice, The Icebound Land. And I have the 7th book in the series, and that is called The Ranger's Apprentice, Eric's Ransom. And then I have the 12th book, and it is called the Royal Ranger. So I have found these at thrift stores, and I love them. I hope to get the whole series. Following that is a book I found at a thrift store, and I really fell in love with it, and it is called Silk Steam by Beck Master. It's a steampunk series. Really, really loved it. Following that is The Shadow Revolution by Crown and Key by Clay Griffin and Susan Griffin. And that is a trilogy. So the next series is The Undying Legion, and it ends with Conquering Dark. Those, if you're looking for something new in like steampunk or Victorian times, I'd highly recommend it. Lots of action pack, thrills and chills, very good. The next book is The Lux. And the third and final books is a trilogy called The Ryan Revolution. I could be saying those names wrong, so I apologize. the theft of the thief of the swords, and that is by Michael Sullivan. The second book is Empire Rise. The third book is Heir of Navaron. Again, I'm probably pronouncing these names wrong, so I do apologize. And the Funko Pops I have on this shelf are kind of like my villains shelf. And that is, I have Ursula, Maleficent, Hades, the warlord from Mulan, which I cannot think of his name, Iago, Jafar. My husband bought me a Kaz Brekker Funko Pop. And it's really cool. I love him from the Six of Crows series, Shaggy, and Conan O'Brien. And the last shelf is another fantasy shelf, and it is dedicated to the series called Redwall by Brian Jakes. It is about anthropomorphic animals in like medieval times, and it is an awesome series. I highly recommend it. So the first book is Redwall, Mossflower, Matty Mayo, Salamandastron, Marl Fox, The Legend of Luke, Lord Brocktree, Pearls of Lutra, The Outcast of Redwall, The Long Patrol, The Tagarong, Triss, Loamhedge, Rackety Tam, Hyrule, Eulila, and then I have a duology called The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and these two books are based on the Shadow and Bone series. I really, really love them. So that is all the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was kind of longer than my usual videos. If you like this video, please give it a big like, subscribe, and tell your friends and family, and I will see everybody soon with a new video. Bye-bye!